...2025 has been another banner year for the local food scene, but we also lost a few culinary faves along the way. Today on CityCast Las Vegas, we talk with Man About Town, Brent Holmes, about the gone but not forgotten establishments and where to go instead to fill those holes in our hearts. It's Thursday, January 22nd. I'm Dayvid Figler, and here's what Las Vegas is talking about. Brent, what was the saddest restaurant closure of 2025 for you, and why is it the Luxor Buffet?
It's not the Luxor Buffet, David.
That's sad to me that you're not mourning the loss of the Luxor Buffet, but...
David, I'll be genuine. I've never been to the Luxor Buffet.
Well, that's why you're a strapping, healthy young man. Okay, so Brent, serious though. Let's go with what is your real saddest closure of restaurant in 2025?
I mean, I think the over-under saddest might be Blue Martini. They just have a legacy in the city.
More on the bar side, but yeah, I hear you.
They are more on the bar side, more on an event side, but they certainly have like a place in the community's hearts. Almost everybody I know has been there at least a couple of times, had a couple of late nights there. And to watch that disappear, especially on that side of town where there's, hasn't historically been as much to do, has kind of been a big loss.
I had no idea you were a town square guy.
I am not a town square guy, but I have found myself at Blue Martini on multiple occasions.
So describe for our listeners who have never been to Blue Martini, and I have been to Blue Martini, so I have a definite thought in my mind on how I describe it, but what's your take on what Blue Martini was? I
mean, it was a bar/nightclub/eatery, bistro food with a lot of, specialty drinks and kind of a good hang for a slightly older crowd, maybe not the club scene kids. Maybe, you're pushing your 30s or your 40s and you want to get out and have a good time. I mean, that was kind of the vibe, good entertainment, decent eats, all of those things,
See, in my mind, it was more of kind of like the last vestige of pickup bar, of singles bar, of looking for Mr. Good Bar.
Oh.
Yeah. It was kind of the scene where I don't want to use any pejorative terms, but yeah, people looking for love in all the wrong places might go to get sort of some easy pickings, if you will.
I mean, I always thought that was the Hundred's Tavern, if you're really looking for love in the wrong place.
A very different level of connoisseur. But so what would you replace Blue Martini with?
So yeah, there's a couple of good options. I think on West Sahara and Decatur, there's Mariposa, and they are kind of a lively Mexican restaurant/bar. They have occasional live music, and you can definitely, look for love there, dinner or brunch. I don't know if it's the wrong place, David, but it is a place to look for love.
The place that comes to mind for me for the kind of the Blue Martini crowd, the sort of elegant, perhaps single peoples looking for that love, would be Kona Grill over in Boca Park. To me, it's same vibe. Same vibe.
No, yeah. I think you're right on there. Maybe for the lots of quality mixed drinks and kind of down-home eats, simpler fare. I do like downtown. I like Fin and Feather. I think they've got a really lively attitude, and they're open till about midnight. So you can, stumble out from there and then head over to Rebar if you've taken all your shots and still missed.
That's a left turn I did not expect from Blue Martini to substitute with Fin and Feather, which is a fantastic restaurant in the Arts District that nobody talks about.
Yeah.
It is your fried food, sort of Southern Georgia touch extravaganza, and I love every time I go there.
Yeah, but it feels sociable. It's lively.
Very sociable.
Yeah, and I think that's a good option. I think maybe the days of the single bar are over, but the singles restaurant could win you over, right?
Yeah, well, there you go. Maybe Fin and Feather's the location. All right, well, let's go down the list. We'll mix it up a little bit, but is there a closure that really surprised you more than anything else in 2025?
I think Ocha. Ocha got me because they're such an institution.
They were the first like major Thai restaurant slash bar in town.
Yeah, and so I really was kind of shocked a little bit because they've been around forever. They predate almost everybody. They always have had a good menu. They've always had good cuisine,
Yeah.
and
I love their
and
soups. I love the
oh
tom
yeah,
kha,
oh
the
yeah,
tom yum.
Tom Kha is kind of pitch perfect. It's my baseline for Thai soup in the valley, I think. And so that like really took me aback a little bit because why, how, right?
Yeah, I mean, decades there. It was in the neighborhood before I moved in. It's right on Vegas Boulevard, near Charleston. And they did kind of move location for half a heartbeat down by the Stratosphere, but then they came back home. We used to do karaoke nights there. They have a cute bar up front.
Yeah.
So wow, what's going to replace Ocha in people's hearts and minds?
I mean, can you replace something as delightful as Ocha? I got to go with Archie's. I think that they're also an institution in the city. In fact, after Ocha, in my infancy as a Thai cuisine connoisseur, Archie's became my next favorite, right? But they don't have the bar. They don't have the kind of the more nightlifey strip adjacent aspects. I will say that. But for taste, service, quality, and then the one on Flamingo still got that drive-through window, which is kind of miraculous in and of itself.
Yeah, who doesn't love a drive-through? Well, in the neighborhood for Thai, I mean, we've been really blessed. There's a couple of great spots. We do love DE Thai for that street food. I mean, it's really more of a takeout place because it's so limited in seating. It's right there in the smack of the Arts District. But I will
Yeah.
tell you, Brent, and I don't know if you've been to the recent expansion and renovation of Le Thai 2 over on Charleston and Rancho, but they have a full bar and luxurious seating in there, and it is wonderful.
Oh, that sounds great. I have not.
We had a great experience in there, and it was very throwback to old school Ocha, where you would just go up to the bar, have a real stiff cocktail, and enjoy your Thai food along the journey. And it's really pretty in there. They really did a great job renovating Le Thai too in that little strip mall where Omelette House is.
Oh, I'm gonna have to check that out. That sounds terrific.
All right, well, let's jump into some other places. I mean, I wonder, Brent, is there a place that you're secretly kind of glad that it's gone now?
Kind of glad. I wish no sorrow or insuccess on anyone.
Right, of course. I didn't mean it that way, but I'm just saying,
I don't know. I can't think of anywhere. Is there somewhere you are kind of glad has gone the way of the dinosaur, David?
Well, yeah, I'm gonna say sometimes the old school favorites on the strip have lasted a little longer than they probably needed to. The one I'm thinking of is Picasso. Over at the
Oh,
Bellagio. They've been there longer than however many people have owned that place. It's like,
yeah.
um, and it used to be like the high end, the place that everyone wanted to go, and you got to be surrounded by these beautiful, pieces of Picasso's art, and it was fantastic. But it's been so off the radar, and it was time for them to kind of replace it with something else. If you want to go on the strip for like a really expensive, pricey, great view out the window sort of thing, there are a lot of options for you. If you're going to spend that kind of dough, for a very fancy place, I still say Guy Savoy over at Caesar's Palace is unrivaled. I mean, if you got the bankroll, it's the best French food in town.
I will go with you on that, but also say Joel Robuchon is still incredible.
Yeah.
It still kills the game. I mean, either one of those, you can't miss the mark. You're going to miss your money, but you're not going to miss the mark on either one of those, man.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a wealthy relative who's in from out of town, that's where you want to go, and that will replace the desire for Picasso. Well, Brent, what's another one on the list of sorry to see you go, but here's a new place to go? So give me the front and the back end of that one.
District 1 in Chinatown. They were terrific.
Wait, they're gone?
Yeah, they're gone.
I had no idea.
Yeah. It was really quality dining, innovative plates, kind of unique, a little oddball for Asian food, but really tasty. And and a lot of fun. And it had that bar hangout vibe too, where you're going to drink too much, you're going to order too many plates, you're going to spend too much money, but darn it if you aren't going to have a great night, right?
It was always like being in a super cool bar that happened to be like a higher end restaurant,
Yeah,
right? And they had that famous lobster pho. I mean, you were definitely going to get yourself a belly full of yum in what otherwise looked like a bar in a strip mall, but a very cool strip mall.
Yes, it is actually one of the coolest strip malls. And in lieu of that, I would say not too far from District 1, a really, really compelling Chinese restaurant called Dragon Gate has opened up. And they've got the same thing. They've got kind of a karaoke a stage, not lounge, stage. Like, it's not the little rooms. You get up on the stage and you do the karaoke. Entertainment, whole bar vibe in the back. Up front, lots of small plates, compelling fine dining, really interesting, expansive menu. Definitely different flavor profiles from District 1, but similar amount of fun, right?
Yeah, I love that strip mall. I mean, that's like right over there. I think it's like Jones and Spring Mountain.
Yeah, Jones and Spring Mountain, man, and that strip mall is legendary. You can't throw a rock in that strip mall and not find something pretty great.
Yeah, I mean, people love China Mama, which we almost lost, but then not only did it come back, but it came back with like a bunch of cousins and sister properties. But I'm going to throw one in from that same strip mall that is no longer with us in 2025, and that is EDO, the high-end tapas place that was a sentimental favorite for us. I mean, we celebrated a lot of like milestone birthdays and things like that at EDO. My favorite tapas place by far in the Valley, and I'm sad to see it go.
I was not an EDO goer. What did you love about it, David?
Yeah, I think more than anything else, it was intimate, but it also had like pound for pound the best tasting menu of any place I've ever been. So you got a little bit of their take on fusion every time you went there. And the chef, Oscar, is moving on to his new projects, and that's going to be amazing. But they did have a sister property, and it's called Anima. And they have a really wonderful lunch special that I just learned about. That's like $25, which is also like, the tasting menu. So I would say Anima, which is, created by the same people who did EDO, is a good replacement for it.
It's like not completely lost.
No, it's not. And the chef is bouncing around town, and he's got a new project in mind, and we reported on it. Actually, we got the exclusive on it here at CityCast on our newsletter. Hat tip to Rob Cacciarese. What's another one you got, Brent, that is dearly departed?
Another one I've got that's dearly departed, but I am struggling to figure out a replacement for this is DW Bistro, which had just one of the best breakfast brunch menus with that Caribbean infusion. It always felt like bright and well lit and fun, and like everybody was kind of having a really great casual morning or afternoon. And I just don't know what we can replace that with. They were a terrific restaurant, and it's a bit of a tragedy, especially because the Valley doesn't have a ton of solid Caribbean food.
It was definitely a mainstay. So I guess what would be a better brunchy place, Caribbean or otherwise? I mean, there is a little Caribbean over at Jammy-Land. That's fun. But what's a brunch place?
You want to know a place I really do like for brunch right now that's not Caribbean but still island style is, and I may mispronounce this, but it's the Guibe Cafe or Guibe Cafe. They're just off of Chinatown on Desert Inn and Arville, and they're
spell this for me.
Guieb Cafe.
Okay,
I don't know I'm not sure how to say that, but they have a great kind of Hawaiian style, super fun breakfast and brunch. The food's delicious. The vibes are high. They frequently have a packed parking lot on Saturdays and Sundays. Every time I cruise by, I live in that neighborhood. And I go over there on my paydays, on my Fridays, and usually get myself some breakfast. Great French toast, lots of ube, super fun.
That sounds delicious, Brent. I'm just going to roll off a couple more before I want to ask the last question to you. We lost Eat this year. I think that's because, and I'm as guilty as anyone else, I haven't been going there a lot just because I haven't enjoyed the construction around 7th and Carson
Mm.
that seems never ending. I think the city really was short-sighted in a lot of the projects that they allowed to happen there without like helping out the businesses nearby. So Chef Natalie Young had her place Eat. Of course, now she has the new place over on Main Street called Echo, which is lovely, great vibes all around. And on Sundays, you kind of pick up some of the Eat items. I was there recently and I had one of their famous pancakes and it did not disappoint. So Echo is the evolution from Eat. And another one, speaking of the high-end places and hotels, Vetri over at the Palms was a long-standing Italian destination restaurant with, the great views of the Strip in the Valley out the window. And they closed this year. And I would think that a great replacement is just across the street over at the Rio, checking out High Stakes, the new James Trees effort, which has its share of, not just Italian cuisine, but also, all the meats, the game meats and the steaks and stuff like that. You can't beat the view. And that was one of the definite reasons to go to Vetri for sure. Hey, Brent, I think you had another one that was downtown.
Are we talking about Pepper Club?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You like that spot? I
that's.
wasn't the biggest fan. I'm going to be honest.
I thought the food was perfectly acceptable, if not very good. I wasn't fully into the vibe. I didn't really get it, but I'm not like a patio person. And the funny thing is, you mentioned Echo, which really I feel like successfully does what Pepper Club was trying to do in a lot of ways. Maybe it's more at ease. It's got a great soundtrack. It feels like kind of a chill, sophisticated vibe with really thoughtful food that comes in a wide variety. And so that's kind of where I'd rather be at. But, I know a lot of people love Pepper Club and their patio is always packed on a Saturday or a Sunday.
Yeah, it was a nice build out, but it never seemed to find its click, and I'm honestly not surprised that it didn't make it.
Yeah.
I've had some good meals there. I've also had some really disappointing meals there. Yet I did keep going back, maybe just because it was there.
I agree.
I want one last one before we bounce out, Brent. And I think we would be remiss. We're talking about all these fancy restaurants, et cetera. But let's talk about Señor Frogs. That was a place in Las Vegas that I don't know if it was beloved, but it was certainly one of us, if that makes sense. And now, It's gone. So tell me your recollection of Señor Frogs and maybe where we might go to capture whatever that vibe was.
I mean, Señor Frogs is like your kind of Mexican party down joint. I'm not sure I was ever in love, but I certainly was inebriated. And the food was fine. It was pretty good. If you're looking for that kind of vibe, thinking about, kind of that on-strip Vegas Mexican kitchen with lots of tequila thing, I really like Chayo Mexican Kitchen and Tequila Bar over the link. They're not half bad, and they have that same energy. That same touristy, we're having fun type of vibe.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing about it, right? It was good enough Mexican food, lots of liquor flowing, party, thumping music. I mean, that was the Señor Frogs aesthetic, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think an elevated version of Señor Frogs on a certain level is La Mona Rosa down on Fremont East. It's like right around the corner of Fremont and 6th. And it used to be La Comida before it was La Mona Rosa. But every time I walk by, there is a party spilling out onto the sidewalk. There are bachelorette parties that show up there. There are people toasting and having a great time. And to me, it's like, what if Señor Frogs just got a little bit of a makeover? Just grew up a little bit.
Just grew up a little bit, some more maturity.
A little glow up for Señor Frogs. And now you got La Mona Rosa. But it looks like a lot of fun. And I mean, that's kind of the bottom line here, Brent, is that we went to a lot of these places because they charged us with fun. It's not it's not something everyone can do every night, go out to these great places. I mean, we did mention some places that were more affordable than others, but a lot of them were pretty expensive. But what do you think at the end of the day that these particular closures that we've talked about in 2025 say about the Las Vegas dining scene and maybe where we're headed next?
I mean, some of those closures really look like a maturity that we're growing into a more sophisticated culinary city. I would say some of these closures look like economic hardship, and that's a different conversation, right? But a lot of these restaurants, were places that were a little higher in price, and maybe people just aren't accumulating the kind of spare income that they used to right now. For the real old hands, for the real classics, the semi-institutional ones, I guess it's a 2 every season. I don't know why places like DW or Ocha close. I would think that they had the staying power for as many years as they did, they'd keep it, but maybe it's an indicator of larger forces at work.
Yeah, and especially like in the event of Eat closing, I just wonder if the city or the various municipalities, wherever it might be, aren't as in tune with the needs of businesses like that have a great buzz, that have a great reputation, have been around for a long time, and what the impact of like ripping up their streets for 6 months will do. I mean, talk to people over at Carson Kitchen, about how they're struggling with that right now. Another mainstay that's been around for a long time that, isn't really doing the best they can because, it's almost impossible to get there. And that's not their fault. I also wonder if there's just an abundance of new places, which is a blessing, but, a marketplace can only sustain so many, new cool places without some of the older ones maybe falling off the tree. And, I hearken back to days when, one of the only off-strip places worth going to was Rosemary's.
Oh, my God.
And we loved going to Rosemary's, and we thought it'd be around forever, but, it didn't.
And now we have, 20, 30 restaurants of the same quality.
Same caliber, same quality.
Same caliber, yeah. And they're not even like the most wow food in the town anymore that's off the strip. So, Oh, Rosemary's. Yeah. I
miss it. I miss it. Yeah. Miss their little art gallery on the side. It was always a fun experience. I miss Andre's downtown. There's lots of little places that used to be one-of-a-kind only places, and they go. But, that's the nature of the beast, right?
I suppose, nostalgia is not as delicious as good food, so I try to stay out of it.
Right, but definitely a feast for us today on CityCast Las Vegas is remember the restaurants that have left us in 2025. Brent Holmes, thank you as always for joining us on CityCast Las Vegas.
Thank you, David.
And that's all for today here on CityCast Las Vegas. If you enjoyed the show, go tell a friend. You could also rate the show, leave us a review, and subscribe to our morning newsletter. And don't forget, you can always support this show and get some great perks by becoming a CityCast Las Vegas neighbor. All you got to do is head on over to membership.citycast.fm. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Till then, stay lucky.